The Minnesota Timberwolves have been one of the most intriguing NBA teams this season. After making the Western Conference Finals, they shocked the NBA universe by shipping Karl-Anthony Towns to New York for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo just before the NBA season began. Many questioned the move. Towns was a homegrown star, and Randle was seen as a downgrade. Would the Wolves' supersized lineup still work? Early on, the pessimism seemed justified as they hovered around 8th in the West. But since the new year, they flipped the script with the 7th best record in the league and the top 4 spot in the West based on record. The Wolves have finally figured out who they are just in time for the playoffs. Anthony Edwards is leading the offense, the defense is back to elite form as a team, and the supporting pieces are playing a cohesive, team-oriented game. The Wolves may just be a legitimate threat this postseason despite seeding. So how did they get here, and can they carry this momentum into the playoffs? Let's break it down. At the heart of the Timberwolves' resurgence is no other than Anthony Edwards, who has taken his game to another level this season, despite some foolish criticism saying otherwise. His athleticism and slashing have always been elite, and his shooting improvement has been a game changer. This season, Anthony Edwards has established himself as one of, if not the, best pull-up shooter in the league today. According to B-Ball Index, he's in the 100th percentile in pull-up shooting talent, a testament to his improved mechanics and just overall confidence. This has been crucial for the Wolves, as Anthony isn't always able to fully utilize his rim pressure and athleticism due to some spacing concerns caused by his teammates. His pull-up game has added another layer of resiliency to his scoring, and making him a threat from anywhere on the floor. And while his raw finishing percentage at the rim may cause for some concern to a few people, when contextualizing for his spacing, he grades out as an 85th percentile rim finisher among starting on-ball guards. This combination of shooting and finishing and overall athleticism has made him one of the most dynamic offensive players in the league, liable to go off at any moment. Right here, Anthony Edwards receives the ball in early offense transition situation, and as Kirst Dunn sets up to pick him up, Rudy goes and set him a nice drag screen, but the angle of the screen causes Dunn to get stuck under, opening space for an Ant wide open pull-up three. Here's another example. This time the Rockets have a guard on Rudy so they can switch the Rudy Ant ball screen action and place Sengun on J-Mac. So J-Mac would then set the ball screen, and then Sengun will be at the level, but not all the way out because he's scared of Ant's first step, and it just allows a pull-up jumper. This come playoff time will force teams to not be able to hedge, because how many bigs can hedge decently in volume to not allow Ant to turn the corner? Also, you can't play any form of drop because of the three-point shooting, forcing teams to either switch or blitz, which both come with their own problems themselves. While Anthony Edwards has been the face of the Timberwolves and leads the offense, Julius Randle's addition and eventual integration has been just as crucial. To start the year, the fit was clunky. Randle and Rudy Gobert struggled to mesh offensively, and the Wolves' offense often looked disjointed. But since the new year, Randle's just been a new breed. Him and Rudy have been posting a plus 12 net rating when on the floor together, and unfortunately, unless you've been watching closely, the injuries have overshadowed this progress, leaving fans really thinking about the start of the year, just saying this is a bad fit overall. But Randle's changed. Under Coach Finch's savvy guidance, he's cutting more off ball. He's not shot chasing as much. He's often just working as a hub, moving Conley and moving Ant off the ball as much, and really flowing into the DHO hub type of big, which has been phenomenal for him as he can use his screening ability and handoff ability to get downhill, bulldozing with his momentum to the basket, screen, get the switch, post up versus mismatches, getting easier opportunities or drawing the help, and then unlocking his passing ability even more. Ever since this new change and since the new year, Randle is virtually tied for the team to lead in assists, showcasing his improved playmaking and quicker decision making. Overall, this has been arguably the smartest version of Randle that we've ever seen. While Anthony Edwards is the face of the franchise and Julius Randle has been a headliner, the Timberwolves supporting cast also have stepped up in a big way, justifying the vision behind this summer's trade since the new year. Mike Conley has adapted seamlessly to his new role despite being very old in NBA years. Of course, he's still shooting well, making smart reads, and providing a steady hand that this team needs. His ability to run the offense and knock down three-point shots has been invaluable, especially in late-game situations. Then there's Donte DiVincenzo, who has completely turned this season around. After a slow start, he's been on fire since the new year, averaging 15 a game on 45% from three. And even more impressive, there were rumors and murmurs about him wanting more ball handling duties in New York, which led to the trade potentially. He's averaging a 4-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, showcasing his ability to contribute without making mistakes and making the right read. And let's not forget the most impressive of it all, maybe, Jaden McDaniels, who has taken significant strides on offense to show why he earned that big contract. In this stretch, he's averaging 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists on 57, 42, 86 shooting splits. And that's not to say he's going to shoot these splits for the rest of the season and beyond, because that's one of the most efficient players ever. But his ability to create off the dribble and knock down shots have added another dimension to this Wolves offense when you have Randle and Ant creating advantages. This heavy regression upward from the supporting cast has been a key factor in the Timberwolves' success. They're starting to look like the formidable threat they were last year, and can I say maybe even better for these matchups in the West? But it's just not about the offense. The Wolves' defense has also been a major reason for their turnaround, and let's dive into that. While the Timberwolves' offense has been hooping since the new year, their defense has been elite since the start of the season. Currently ranked 5th in defensive rating, they've been one of the most disruptive units in the league. Let's start with the numbers. They're 5th in opponent effective field goal percentage, a testament to their ability to contest shots and limit high percentage looks. They're 5th in rim percentage allowed, thanks to their elite rim protection, shout out to Rudy, and 9th in opponent turnover percentage, showcasing their ability to control the turnover game and create chaos and generate these extra possessions. At the heart of this defense is Rudy Gobert, who continues to be an A-tier impact player. When Rudy is on the floor, the Wolves have a negative 6.8 defensive rating, and opponents' rim frequency drops by 6%. Simply put, he's one of the most dominant rim protectors in the NBA still. But it's not just about Rudy. The Wolves have surrounded him with multiple perimeter defenders who can hold their own. Jaden McDaniels has emerged as one of the league's best wing defenders. He uses his length and instincts to disrupt opposing scorers. Anthony Edwards, when he's engaged, is locked down in isolation situations and on the ball. Even role players like Jalen Clark and Donte DiVincenzo have contributed, providing depth and versatility on the perimeter. This combination of elite rim protection and strong perimeter defense has made the Wolves one of the most complete defensive teams in the league. In fact, back to Rudy, their 4 best defensive lineups all feature him, providing how central he is to their identity. But it's a collective effort. I won't just say it's all him, from Rudy's dominance to the perimeter players' hustle. That has made the defense so effective. And as the playoffs approach, the defense will be their calling card still. The question is, can they maintain this defensive intensity against an elite offense round after round after round? That's the next challenge for this group. As this team gears up for the playoffs, there are still questions about whether this team can sustain this success. Or is it just a hot streak? The offense is legit, or is this a hot streak? While Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle has been doing a fantastic job so far at engineering this offense since the new year, the Wolves rank 19th in turnover percentage, and they both play a part in that, which could be a problem in the playoffs because possessions matters the most. Randle's occasional dimensionality issues and bull in the China shot moments, combined with Edwards' still developing vision, could chip away at the margins in the 7-game series. Second, can we trust Randle's decision making as a primary initiator in the playoffs, or will he revert to past tendencies? His improved playmaking and team-oriented approach have been crucial, but the postseason is a different beast. Will he stay disciplined, or will the pressure force him into bad habits? Third, will the offense fall off without Ant? While Randle and the supporting cast have stepped up, Edwards is the engineer of this team. If defense is keying on him, can the other Wolves find consistent scoring outside of him, round after round after round? Because they're going to have a heavy hitter in the first round, likely being an 8 through 6 seed. And finally, can the Reed-Randle lineups be a positive in the playoffs? while it shows promise and is fire offensively. The postseason will test their ability to defend and score against elite competition. Now, I don't really doubt the offense much. The offense should be solid, but the defense, will they bleed too much on defense? And if Randle's having the previous playoffs Randle that we've seen so far, it could get wonky where you can't even play this lineup much. These are the questions that will define the Timberwolves playoff run. But one thing is clear. This team does have the talent and identity to make noise this postseason. The question is whether they can put it together when it matters most. After a slow start to the season, the Minnesota Timberwolves have transformed into one of the most intriguing teams in the NBA. Anthony Edwards leading the charge, Julius Randle embracing a team-oriented role, and a defense anchored by Rudy Gobert. They found their identity just in time for the playoffs. This team is built to challenge higher seeds. Their ability to match up with different personnel, whether it's through Edwards scoring, Randle's versatility, Gobert's rim protection, size, speed, you name it, they got it. If they continue on this path, they could even be considered the favorites versus certain higher seeds. But the playoffs are a different beast. Can they overcome their turnover issues? Will Randle stay disciplined under pressure? And can the supporting cast steps up if Edwards is slowed down and more attention is on him? These are questions that will define their postseason. But one thing is clear. The Timberwolves are no longer a disappointing story. They're a legitimate threat. And if they can put it all together, they have the potential to make a deep playoff run. So what do you think? Can the Timberwolves win a playoff series? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more in-depth NBA analysis.